Lastly, I should mention that local anesthetics do seem to exhibit a small amount of direct local anesthetic toxicity on nerves as well. And the end result of this is actually apoptosis of neurons. So by some intracellular mechanism, long duration and high concentration of local anesthetics tend to cause damage to our nerves. In particular, with an intravesicular block and also intraneural, this is much more common. I've drawn sort of a non-specific group of nerves here. Let's go inside out. So these yellow things are our nerve fibers or axons, and they're going to be surrounded by the endoneurium, which is just a very thin layer surrounding our axons. And then these are bundled together by the perineurium. You'll have a bunch of nerve fibers or axons all bound by this perineurium, and this group is called a fascicle. So these are fascicles. An intravesicular block would be actually putting a needle directly into this fascicle, which would generally be unintentional because we know that this is more toxic and also more likely to directly injure nerve fibers because these are tightly bound inside your perineurium, and the likelihood that you transect an axon here is much higher than if you stay outside of this space. So surrounding a bunch of fascicles is going to be our epineurium in orange, and then this space in between all of the fascicles, but inside the epineurium is your intraneural space. You may also see this called the intervesicular space. Sort of on the outside of the epineurium are blood vessels, and then inside the fascicles you also have very tiny blood vessels, and these are the intrinsic blood vessels, or sometimes called the intraneural blood vessels, and these ones are the extraneural blood vessels. This particular drawing that I've made has a perineural sheath, which not every group of nerves will be surrounded by, but for example, the sciatic nerve definitely is encased by another layer of fascia, and this thicker encasing is often called a perineural sheath. And then inside this is sometimes referred to as the subperineural, or if there is no sheath here, this would simply just be extraneural. All of this to say that if we put local anesthetic out here, with every layer of fascia or cell layer that we have to diffuse through, we're going to have decreasing concentrations of this local anesthetic. So the closer that you get to depositing the local anesthetic directly adjacent to these nerve fibers, the more potential we have for toxicity, because if you give this full concentration of local anesthetic right up against these nerve fibers that are going to be highly bathed in a toxic molecule.